give Marc Stanley, Thunderstruck, Marc Stanley.
Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, I always return from my annual camping adventure with at least one crazy story. It never fails. It seems the mix of myself, my brother, and the mountains inevitably makes for an interesting but unforgettable concoction. Now sometimes these stories are funny, sometimes they get a little scary, but the moments always build stronger bonds, and the stories are always fun to retell. This particular story is my personal favorite. You see, it was the last day of our first trip ever into the mountains. And up to this point, we'd had a fantastic time. We'd seen some deer and some hummingbirds. We built some nice campfires. We relaxed and just taking in the beautiful scenery. Of course, as with any adventure, there were a few small snags. We did get completely lost on more than one occasion. And I did watch my sleeping bag tumbled end over end 40 feet and splashed into a running creek. But I got my bag back, and we were already in the middle of nowhere anyway, so we just chalked it up as part of the experience. Now, it rains every day in the mountains. I had been told the storms could be a little scary. Up to this point, it was more of a relaxing rain, light sprinkles. Nothing to worry about, I thought. But that all changed on our last day. You see, for our last day, we decided we want to go see St. Mary's Falls, a gigantic waterfall. So we get our 50-pound packs on and we hike 2 miles over to the base. We get there, we relax, eat some food, and just take in the magnificent waterfall. While we're sitting there, I get the bright idea that, hey, we should camp up there on the peak. I talk to a local couple. They say, there's a perfect campsite up there. There's a nice flat spot for your tent, perfect fire pit already dug, and the view from there was spectacular. Well, that's all I needed to hear. They said, but before you go, you should know, the trail's pretty hard to get there. And it's supposed to storm tonight, so you'd probably be better off making your camp down here, just going to see the view with no gear. But my brother and I are stubbornly adventurous. We decided we can handle anything, and off we went. Well, it didn't take long before we realized that pretty hard meant extremely difficult. We were on our hands and our knees to traverse this mountain. But finally, we got to the top. We were dog tired. But we knew before we could rest, we had to get camp set up. So we got the tent put up, we got a fire built, big pile of wood. Finally, we sat down to relax. We had sit down for no more than 2 minutes when, crack, we see the lightning off in the distance. It's about 10 miles away. At this point, the clouds were a light gray, just a light sprinkle. Within a matter of a few minutes, the rain got heavy enough, we decided to go ahead and get inside the tent. Next time I peeked my head out the tent, we were surrounded by the meanest, darkest, nastiest looking storm clouds that you can imagine. The lightning was only about 5 miles away. It was at this point that it dawned on me, this might have been a bad idea. We were at the highest elevation we've been the entire trip. What if our other rain showers were just rain showers, and this was a storm? Well, the rain got steadier and heavier as the storm drew closer and closer. When the rain turned to hail, there was no doubt this was a real storm. Now, up to this point, my brother and I were both concerned. Now he started to get scared. He starts pointing out to me that the poles that hold our tent up are made of metal. Lightning likes metal. And because of our perfect flat spot for our tent, we're very exposed. But I'm a big brother. Big brothers don't get scared. Tell them it's just some rain. It's gonna roll by, nothing to worry about. But now when the lightning's flashing, it's like a strobe light illuminating our tent. The thunder's rumbling the ground beneath us. In the midst of you guys in here today, I started to get scared. Couldn't let my brother see that. I said, no, I can't see it. It's all right. Next time the lightning strobes our tent, I look over, he's got a sleeping bag pulled up to his face like this. His eyes are this big. Looks like a terrified 5-year-old, not a 21-year-old man. I said, oh, I'm this scared, he's scared. I gotta do something. I know what I'll do. to say something funny. I looked at him. First thing that came to mind, I said, John. He looked up, looked at him right in his eyes. I said, if I die up here on this mountain tonight, play Thunderstruck at my funeral. Well, he didn't laugh. He didn't even smirk. He just glared at me. So we sat there in some uncomfortable silence for a few moments. Finally, he chuckles. He looks at me, he says, dude, that really wasn't funny. He paused. He says, if you die, I'll play Thunderstruck at your funeral. He says, but imagine me telling Mom and Granny and the whole family that no questions asked, we're playing AC/DC's Thunderstruck at your funeral. He says, they'd kill me too. Well, we laughed. That broke the tension. The rain rolled over. We didn't die. It ended up being a beautiful night. But in retrospect, I did learn some valuable lessons that night. Number one, don't camp on the peaks of mountains. It's a bad idea. Number two, in any situation, laugh at it if you can. Freaking out never helps anything. And number three, maybe most importantly, listen to the locals and listen to your elders, because they do know more than you do. Thank you.